Health is devolved from the Department of Health. Meron lang silang mga representatives that they send to the provincial health office. Tapos meron ding counterpart ang provincial health office to the Department of Health. So Dr. Kalingasan was exercising his due diligence in terms of the practice of the management of this pandemic. So tama yung ginawa niya. And sinabi ko kay Dr. Lacuna, yung mga ginagawa ninyo, tigilan nyo na yan kasi hindi nakakabuti yan. In fact, gayahin ninyo si Dr. Kalingasan. Ikaw mismo, sabi ko, you will be a hero to the Region 10 if you also allow the use of ivermectin. Instead of sisiraan ninyo ang ivermectin, tagamit mo na yan, roll it out, distribute it to Region 10, and you will be a hero. Your cases will go down. So I salute Dr. Kalingasan. Thank you very much, Dr. Jerry.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Jade.
also for that.
Sige po, go ahead po.
Thank you so much also, Dr. Jade Del Mundo for that, and thank you so much for calling also Dr. Boy Lacuna. And I just hope and pray na I know he changes his mind on what you have said to him. Especially sana he will have some knowledge and wisdom to do what I have done for the province of Misamis Occidental. Magmayong gabi isad ako sa atong among kauban nga doktor here in Cagayan de Oro, Dr. Titit Lumikaw. I saw her name come out. Good evening po, Dr. Titit Lumikaw.
Oo, kasi if he doesn't change his mind, magagalit si Duterte.
Oh.
Okay, Doc Homer.
Yeah,
Doc Homer,
so,
go ahead.
hi, Doc Jerry. Hi. So, want to ask question. Kamusta po yung reception ng doctors ninyo in your provincial hospitals? What was their reaction?
Actually, I haven't talked to them since nagkagulo-gulo. But I talked to the chief of our hospitals, and I told them talk to your doctors of my advisory because I'm really pushing it. And I've even talked to my governor yesterday because he was already asking me, because I've not talked to the media. The media was asking me. I said, I will not talk to the media, I said, because sabi ko, pag nagtanong sila ng question, they might be more intelligent than me.
No, they might actually change the way you made the statement.
Yan ang problema.
Yun ang problema.
Sabi ko, the first question will be a question at my intellectual level. The next question might be higher than what I know or what I have not read.
No,
So I said, I will not talk to the media. So it was my governor who talked to them yesterday. That's why there was an article that came out, yung kay Herbie Gomez. That was from my governor. That wasn't from me. So that was from him. Sige po.
Okay, bakit po ninyo napili gamitin ng ivermectin? There are other options there. Bakit ivermectin?
Actually po, I have read a lot before the CDC Philippines. I've been reading already. That's why I was telling the Department of Health, you read. Before telling me anything, you read first. And they were even asking me if it was a very big yes when I told them. And they are, but they've been taking it silently. At tapos nagpa-prescribe ako through text kasi ang daming nagtatanong what will we do with these patients na hindi na namin pwede madala sa hospital kasi the hospitals are full. So I give them my yung mga protocol wherein doon ako nag-umpisa with FLCC, and then at the last is ivermectin. So that even went down to Bukidnon already. There was one doctor there na pag yung nakita niya yung prescription ko, I said, okay, I'll follow this because I know this doctor.
Wow.
So, um, actually naman, we have started it also in our hospitals, in one of our hospitals na talagang we've been giving it already. So, and then we found out also a good result na we've saved lives. That was the only thing that I was telling everybody na we have to save lives. We have to stop death. That is what I was always telling them. Na you stop death in the province of Misamis Oriental. I didn't care if everybody gets COVID. Basta kay we save, nobody dies.
That's right. Okay, Doc, kamusta naman po yung supply ng ivermectin? Maganda po yung nagpe-prescribe or you're suggesting it for the province, but do you have enough ivermectin available in the province?
Yung prescriptions ko naman ay hindi tinatanggi ng mga drugstores dito. So that means to say there is a supply of
Alright.
ivermectin. Because I haven't heard anybody telling me na, Doc, hindi kami nakabili. I tell them, you go to these drugstores because they have this there. And they could even buy it in a cheaper price. And then there are also veterinarians here who have this ivermectin capsules of 15 milligrams.
Okay.
Doc,
Sige
one
po.
more question is,
Go ahead.
so are your hospitals full right now?
Yes. One big hospital of ours, they have gone up to 40% already of COVID patients. And then, yung dalawang hospitals namin po na we have repurposed as COVID hospitals, punong-puno sila. They have, ang capacities 25, pero umaabot sila ng 40 patients. So we're
So,
really
Doc,
full.
Yeah. So, Doc, maybe you would like to push the envelope further. In other countries like in Costa Rica, in Paraguay, in El Salvador, they're actually giving ivermectin kits. So maybe, that would be a good idea. Suggestion lang.
Yes. We will be doing that. Down to the barangays. You know what I did with the barangays today? Nagpa-survey ako. Nag-surveillance kami, di ba? We've been telling everybody na go on an active intensified surveillance on ILI. Now, hanggang hanggang salita lang yun. Ang ginawa ko ngayon, ginamit ko si Department of Health on that active surveillance because they have all the nurses, the HRH and the NDPs in every barangay. So, ginamit ko sila so that we will also have a good reporting on ILI. Started 2 weeks ago. So I said the early identification, early detection will go for an early isolation, an early quarantine, and an early treatment. I have said I've already given my guidelines to the municipal health officers. And part of that guidelines is already that
Nabanggit ni Big Tech sa comments. I mean, also mentioned supported the decision of his chief health officer. Tama na po naman. Sinuportahan po kayo ng governor, no? Dr. Jerry?
Yes po. 3 months po.
Okay. Sabi ni Virlog to Doc Jerry, kudos for a brave stand. Mabuhay po kayo, sabi ni Salamat Jude Doc, sabi ni Erwin, Imo Jude gi-approve. Sana sa Davao City din approved. Ano kaya likelihood nun, ano? Sa Davao. Okay, good. Kalingasan, mabuhay kayo. Kudos Doc, you're taking a brave stand. Kudos na naman mula kay Ronald. Murag, sabi ni Erwin, Murag wala sila ga-follow man, Doc. What does that mean? Wala sila.
As if they did not follow.
Okay. Sa ospital, hindi kayo sinusundan sa ospital? Or the DOH did not follow? Okay, Doc Jerry, we're happy for you. Sabi ni Marlene from Cagayan de Oro. Thank God. Sa cdcph.org website, ang dosage instructions natin, it's in the protocol section. No? If you go to cdcph.org, we'll show you the link later on in the show. You can there. Tapos si Leslie sabi, cheers and thank you, Dr. Jerry. Department of Health po, ang DOH, sabi ni Erwin. Hi, Doc. Merry Chris Vargas, thank you for the help. 2 friends recovered from COVID. Cheers to ivermectin. That's good to hear. Kudos to Dr. Kalingasan from TESB. God bless you. Thank you, Doc Jerry, for paving the way in Northern Mindanao. What do you think, Doc? Kakalat ba sa Mindanao ito dahil sa ginawa ninyo?
Yung nag-leak po ang already. So let me just say it's all over. Kung sino bang nag-leak niyan, and my governor told me you cannot find them anymore. So all we have to do is we just answer their questions. So yun na pong ginawa ng governor po namin ng Misamis Oriental, si Governor Bambi Imano.
Okay. Sabi ni Eleanor, Doc, go ahead, Doc Homer.
You know, we're happy that at least your governor is really supportive. We really need more governors and mayors to really support this movement, because this will really be the game changer for everyone. Thank you.
Doc Jade is a former Undersecretary of the Department of Health, Undersecretary of the Department of Health. So he can talk a little bit more about that, Doc Jade, if you would, about the evolution of the powers na would allow other doctors who are in a similar situation as Doc Jerry or maybe higher than him in position to be able to do exactly the same thing as Doc Jerry. Tama ba, Doc Jade?
Yes, tama yan. The local government physicians, the local government, health, no, from the provincial health office to the municipal health office are already devolved from the Department of Health. Nagpapadala lang sila ng mga representatives para malaman nila yung mga recent directives from the national government with regards to, let's say, maternal care, communicable, non-communicable diseases, mga vaccinations, etc., etc. But they can actually perform on their own with regards to their whatever decisions they make are entirely of their own decision, no, based on scientific evidence. So si Dr. Kalingasan was practicing according to his readings. Marami na siyang nababasa tungkol sa ivermectin and other management based on the FLCCC protocol. So yun ang ginawa niya to his best interest, to the best interest of the province of Misamis Oriental. Ginawa niya ang pinakamagandang palagay ko magagawa niya para maging effective yung kanyang position as a provincial health officer. So totoo nga naman, maraming natutuwa sa kanya at sabi nila marami na gumagaling at marami na prevent yung kanilang illnesses. So I just want to say na maganda yung example ni Dr. Kalingasan, and he can inspire other provincial health officers and even the regional health officer, si Dr. Lacuna, na sabi niya he's only following the directives of the Department of Health. Sabi ko, magbasa ka and you expand your mind, think out of the box, sabi ko. Mabuti na lang si Dr. Kalingasan is a good friend. I know that he's a good friend of the governor. Kaya pinapabayaan siya sa ginagawa niya, which is good. Kasi dapat ganon talaga ang relationship ng provincial health officer sa governor. So yung kanilang synergistic move was very beneficial to the province of Misamis Oriental. And I hope yung city din ng C8 ng Cagayan de Oro would benefit kasi nandun nakaupo yung regional health officer. Thank you.
Okay, may tanong dito si Paul. Sabi niya, can we have a copy of the directive of Dr. Kalingasan, please, for reference purposes? Baka nga pwedeng gamitin ng ibang regions ito, no? Ibang provincial health officer. Where can we find this? It's on Viber. Ellie or Boss Ann, can we put it somewhere?
We'll send the file here later, pero hindi siya masyadong clear. But it's also in the internet. They can Google it. Under images, nandun din siya. Kasi na-viral na rin siya.
Okay. The easiest one to do is to search for Kalingasan, Kalingasan,
And
or
Misamis Oriental.
Misamis Oriental. Misamis Oriental, ivermectin. You can try that. There's some question here, mga doc. Sabi ni Jamie, Doc, pag 57 ba ang oximeter reading, siguro ito, need na bang intubate? Doc Homer, Doc Iggy? Kumakain pa si Doc Homer.
Change battery muna.
Ikaw? Change battery ng oximeter.
Yung oximeter. Kasi usually, 80 pa lang, alam mo na kailangan naman na intubate kasi hindi nagsasalita, hinang-hina. Pag umabot to sa 50, may problema rin siguro yung oximeter.
Yung meter mismo, kailangan palitan yung baterya. Okay. So, ang sabi, tapos, Ellie and Boss Ann, si Dr. Meth will be joining us shortly. Medyo nakalimutan yata natin, nakalimutan ko padala ng link. No? She was waiting for the link.
No, I sent it to her, Mars.
Okay. All right. So it's also with I just resent it now. So baka
Okay,
please
got it.
watch out na lang her.
We'll call her na lang after this. 3 minutes we can give to Manolo. 3 minutes.
Sige,
Just
Manolo,
3 minutes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Manolo. Unmute, please.
You can unmute.
There we go.
Hello, Dr. Jenny. This is really fantastic what you're doing. Very, very quickly, I want to share the experience we have. Our group, we have a small group of volunteer doctors, etc. Very near you, in a town called Lala, in Lanao del Norte. We were called because the mayor already had 12 dead. And what they were doing in Lala is once somebody was tested sick, they would be brought to a quarantine center. And once in the quarantine center, they would be given nothing and they would just die. So they had an extra, from the 12 dead that they had when we first got called, they eventually had 5 more dead, 17 dead. So we instructed them on what to do, how to take the ivermectin, and we sent them ivermectin. We were able to get them 5,000 pills of ivermectin, and they distributed the ivermectin to 84 households that had 84 people sick. These 84 people, after 3 weeks, were cured. And we also advised them to take the people sharing those households. We told them to also please take ivermectin. But not everybody took ivermectin. Not everybody in those households took ivermectin. But surprisingly, because the 84 people who were sick took the ivermectin, nobody else got sick. So in 3 weeks, not only did we cure the 84 sick, but the 84 households, no new cases erupted. And like Dr. Homer Lim just told you, we can help you prepare these kits so that everybody in your area has it. Because once they go to the hospital, the experience that we have, Doc, is that not all doctors want to give ivermectin. So they're actually safer staying home and getting monitored at home. And it's just a question of getting oximeters for these people who are very sick. So if you're able to organize it in such a way so that we can get volunteers, we can train the volunteers, we can get your nurses when they're off duty, whatever it is, through the barangays like you explained. This is the best way to do it. Our group now is also doing other things with the LGUs, but the mayors are very difficult to convince. You're very lucky that your governor wants to do it. The governor of Lanao del Norte didn't want to hear us because they've been instructed to peddle the vaccines. So what you're doing, we have to do it. We have to do it like this.
That's right.
And it's only people like you who will do it. And we, if you look at the comments of the people here, people are saying, "Oh, bravo, Dr. Jerry, bravo. We should have more doctors like this." It's not enough. We have to help you do this.
Right.
So the people who are listening to us, don't sit back and do nothing. Do something.
Right.
Help our Dr. Jerry.
Thank you.
So if
Thank
you know this suggestion of Dr. Homer, this is a wonderful suggestion. If you need to get ivermectin, we will send you. We will find a way to get you those kits. We have to distribute it to the households. We have to stop it, and if we're able to, not only cure, it eradicates. We can stop this virus once and for all. Hindi na natin kailangan yung mga bakuna na yan.
Okay.
Yun lang,
Okay.
Doc. And congratulations,
Thank
Doctor.
you.
Wonderful
Salamat.
job.
Thank you, Manolo. Mr. Del Rosario, go ahead, please. PHR Del Rosario.
Yes,
3 minutes po.
Good evening. Yes, opo. First, I just want to thank everyone in CDC PH. My wife is recovering. My wife and I is recovering. And we had Dr. Landritos dosing. So it's really effective. And we survived. We overcome in Christ. Now, I really wanted to thank Dr. J. Del Mundo in citing that, the city health officer and provincial health officer are not somehow cannot be controlled by DOH, the national office. So it would be best to really approach that way.
The local
As
government.
Manuel
Yes.
Gonzalez is saying, this is our way of helping in the localities, in our local communities. So ang question ko ngayon is, can we represent CDC PH? Can you check us as valid members that we can somehow write a letter, bring the letter to the city, to the barangay, and the League of Barangay, the League of Barangay Captains, and present it to the city, present it to the municipal mayors, and somehow let CDC PH leadership have a hybrid Zoom wherein all the mayors, even by districts, we don't know how to, we will do it by segments in such a way that the CDC PH leadership with Dr. Homer, you, Marie, and Dr. Iggy are there also to support us, and kami naman dun sa ilalim, nandun kami live. It's really something na I don't know how to do it, but I agree with Manuel. I'm in for it, and I thank you. This is one way of giving my gratitude, expressing our gratitude to what CDC PH had done to me and my wife. So God bless you.
Salamat po. Thank you for sharing. Pasok na ba si Dr. Matt? Is she joined us already?
Yes, I believe so.
Alright. Good
Miss
evening po,
Carmelita.
Doktora.
Hi, hello, good evening to all of us. Ivermectin babies. Magandang umaga, gabi po sa inyong lahat. I
Kamusta
am
po?
very grateful.
Sige po.
Ay, mabuti po ang anak ko.
I was about to ask.
Kami
Sige po.
pong lahat ay nagpapasalamat sa mga doktor who was
Yeah, okay.
part of the healing of my son.
Okay po. You want to talk about what his situation was? How is he right now po? Can you tell us?
He just went to a party. My son went to a party. I mean, pero malayo siya, but he had to pray over a couple who was getting betrothed, and of
Okay.
course we have protected ourselves we had our several almost weekly swabbing, and hindi kami nakakahawa. But my son is eating well. My son exercises that will yung exercises niya, yung sumasaya daw siya eh. So anything that makes him happy is good for him. But of course, he has a long way to go.
Doc,
But
itanong ko lang.
he could have been dead by this time. Kung
That's
hindi
true.
po-
That's true. Itanong ko lang po, Doc. Did he have
Yes, go
his
ahead.
doctor's permission to go to the party? Doc? Wala si Doc.
Malayo po siya, siguro mga ano siya. Pasensya na kayo, hindi ko maiwasan kasi where we are staying right now is where the betrothal happened. So
Okay.
But
he
if
had
you
to
think
look
about
from a
it,
distance para
magaling
lang
na siya.
makita na
Doktora, magaling na po siya. May antibodies na rin naman siya.
That's right. Did you hear that, Doc? Doc Mel?
magaling na po siya, may antibodies na po siya.
Kaya nga, I don't
Yes,
think
yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I don't think he's contagious.
No, but
Mari, pakibigyan lang natin yung background ng ating mga audience sa kay Dr. Met. Ano yung
yeah,
kanyang share na story? Thank you po.
I was gonna get there. Pwede ba natin sabihin, Doktora, kung sino yung anak ninyo na pinag-usapan natin? Are we allowed to?
Yung anak ko po.
Ba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Si Greco Belhica po.
Okay.
He works with the government under the Office of the President, and he mixes with all kinds of people, but he is fully covered by ivermectin and all lahat po ng pwede niyang inumin na vitamins. He is fully covered. He's a very healthy person. He's a health buff. He's always under the sun. He never fails to take. He has food that is high on acid. Ang ginagamit po niya is gulay at saka vegetable and fruit. Yeah, always, and we have a particular disinfectant that we use, and where we go, all of us po. So it was really very surprising that he had
COVID.
COVID. Kaya nagulat po kaming lahat nung magkaroon siya. Initially, I was treating him as mild kasi sinabi po sa akin ng wife niya na the wife tested positive. But at that point, I didn't know that Greco also tested positive. So ang ginawa po namin, in-isolate namin yung mag-asawa. The kids started having fever pero mga one day lang, and they overcame it. I gave them yung itinuro po sa akin how to give these young kids a little of the ivermectin. So the children were pretty well. Ang through that. Pero si Greco po and the wife, they isolated themselves completely. Until after how many days kayo nag-isolate? Mga 7 days, suddenly, he was having fever that was nag-i-spike, and then pag binigyan mo ng gamot na antipyretic, bumababa, and then it spikes again. It never occurred to me to do a chest x-ray kasi I thought it was just like they are mag-asawa, nagkakahawahan. Probably this is a mild one because Nina had a very mild condition. So akala ko it's the same with Greco. And Greco is someone who doesn't complain. So nung someone suggested have an x-ray, that's when I saw he had already COVID pneumonia bilateral. By that time, we already called. He didn't want to go to the hospital. We called up a friend who would monitor him, a doctor, for the next. Pwedeng
Doc, can we explain kung bakit ayaw niyang magpa-ospital?
Ayaw niyang magpa-ospital, Brother Mari, kasi he knew na the next thing they will do is to intubate him. Kasi pala, so the first time I got into the room and I saw him already covered up, I already suspected that this is not a simple, mild doctor that is going to stay and see him midnight. Binigay na ho lahat. May oxygen kami para kaming ospital na doon eh. And then nung mga third day ho yata, he was not getting any better. We were discussing about hospital, where to bring him. We have no other. We have given almost everything. Remdesivir was the last that we can. Pumayag ho yung wife. And then nung nakapag mga 2 or 3 doses of remdesivir, he was getting worse. Binigyan ng tosi. Nung tosi, nag-collapse siya, nag-chill siya, nagkaroon siya ng excessive, humihingal na siya. Ang laki-laking tao nito eh. So we were almost dragging him back to the bed. And that was the time na we decided he has to go to the hospital. Wala kaming makitang ospital. St. Luke's was not accepted. because that
And-
was the only hospital available, not knowing that it was going to be a blessing. It's going to
Bakit
be
po?
a blessing for us.
How
Eh,
did it
kasi
become a
ho,
blessing po?
oh, how would I say it? Or na you can, when the moment you get to the hospital, you are completely under their thumb na. And they would feel bullied if I tell them what should be done. So nung nandun na siya sa hospital na yon na maliit, they started giving the medications which looks like my son is not going to make it. I felt this is not good, and I cannot call on any doctor kasi yung mga doctor, mga visiting consultant lang ito. The next morning, I told my daughter-in-law, go get a hospital in St. Luke's, sabi ko. St. Luke's tayo. Wala akong makita ditong cardiologist, wala akong makita. I was getting too worried already. And they were mga IVs lang, antibiotic and all. Sabi ko, this is not gonna work. I know in my heart it's not gonna work. Binibigyan ko siya ng ivermectin without the doctor knowing it, and all the other kind of supportive therapy. Binibigyan ko si Greco without telling the doctors. Third day nangyari po. I think about August 31, wala kami makuhang lugar sa St. Luke's. August 31, my son told me, let's talk to some doctors, sabi sa akin. Sabi ko, ayoko na. Napapagod na ako. Sabi kong ganun.
More doctors.
Gusto ko na lang mag-concentrate kay Greco. I don't like to be too intelligent anymore. I just would like to either see Greco or pray na lang. Sabi ko kasi I was already getting all worried about what's going on. Hindi na umiimik yung anak ko. Nakahiga na lamang. Yung mga doktor pasilip-silip lamang. Doing what they felt should be done. Then, pumasok po yung grupo ng tapos nung magabi-gabi na po, na nakiusap yung anak ko na pakinggan ko daw yung sasabihin. Akala ko it was a forum. A forum that they were going to discuss about ivermectin. I did not realize it was a discussion for my son.
Okay.
I was not aware that these people came together to help my son. As a mother po, I thought na I am not a doctor now. I'm a mother. I want just to my son. Malaman ko po yung mga doktor nagkasama-sama para nga sa anak ko. Then nung pinakikinggan ko na po yung mga sinasabi nila, I understood it. Kasi many years ago when I broke my back sa Amerika, na nagkaroon ako ng spondylolisthesis grade 3. Binigyan ako ng 100,000 milligrams. 100,000 milligrams of just the one of the precaution that the doctor told. So palang epekto ng vitamin C given to you in that level. Told that I cannot walk again. Practically malulumpo daw ako. They were just trying to do whatever they can para makauwi ako. So and behold, after 10 days, I got out of my wheelchair and I walked. So, hindi ko malimutan yon. And then yung mga doctor took interest ng vitamin C, hydrogen peroxide, ganyan. I went home to Manila. I was walking. In 1 year, I was wearing my high heels. So I believe in that. Nung kinausap po nila ako, when the first thing they told me about was vitamin C. And then they started discussing the time that my son was in already was the critical stage of, sabi po ni Dr. Ang hindi ko maintindihan, I had such peace in my heart. Doctor doesn't thing to do. this is the right thing. They told me to have of steroid, of oxygen, which is glutathione, and then also yung, what's the other one? And then later on, leronlimab. What I cannot deny, when to make me do this, sumbong ako ng mga nurses if I do it, hindi ko maitatago yung IV na ilalagay ko. So, why should I allow my son to have all these things? Nagtiyaga ho silang ipaliwanag sa akin yung mga sinasabi nila. Ang hindi ko talagang when everything, sabi high oxygen, ako sa naghanap kami, nakakita ayaw papasukin ng ospital unless marami daw mga pipirma pa. A friend of ours offered to get me a high oxygen flow, which was close to impossible because that was 11 o'clock in the evening. Alam po ba niyo lahat yun? Yung leronlimab, ilagay yung IV. Nag-3-way kami nung doktor. I pleaded with all the to have this one. This is only vitamin C. And then, yung hindi nila pinayagan, binigay ko nonetheless yung steroid. Sinaksa ko na rin yung sign ako ng waiver. It was the peace and the quickness by which everything was brought together that I Reco what days before that, almost 1 week na po kami sa ospital, was just lying, and I would almost like bodily carry him to the bathroom. And one time he went right on the floor nung nasa banyo po. So scary for me. But the morning after the leron, and all of this was put into his body during the leronlimab, he stood up. He sat up on his bed and said, "Mami, nagugutom ako." Nagulat ako, yung mga doktor walang umangal. They were just allowing me and the nurses as well. Siyempre may nurse na nagsumbong sa kanya na ganito daw ang ginagawa ko. I just have a sense of this is the right thing to do. This is not from men's intelligence. This is, of course, all the people I was talking to were so intelligent. I was so amazed. Na I felt na this is it, and I felt that Filipino people will benefit from this program. Kaya po nung miskin nung panahon na medyo yung pagiging scientific mind ko was like, why are you doing this? Why are you allowing yourself to be drawn into a system that you don't know, people talking to you whom you don't know? I knew my son was going to be a test case. But nakita ko every day, moment by moment and day by day, improvement was coming on. And the doctors would come in and say, "Hey, you're getting better." They never recognized it was cytokine storm. They never recognized it. They just thought my son was getting well. Kasi hindi mo nagrereklamo yan. Nakahiga lamang yan. That to me was an amazing thing that God did. At that precise moment, dalawang grupo ng doktor ay was saying different things. And then in a matter of siguro mga 3 days, the oxygen of my son was improving. On the dot, lahat yung sinabi po sa amin ng doktor, ni Dr. Castillo. Sabi niya, in 3 days, you will be, you're ganito, ganyan, bubuti ka, ganyan. Then you'll be able to. Parang nabasang-basa nila. Sabi ko, boy, I tell you, this is not being told to us by the OH. Para bang hindi ito sinuturo sa amin. These are the things that we doctors have to know, to understand. I mean, even common tao can understand these things. Bakit hindi na ituturo sa amin ito? These are the things na nagbibigay ng kapayapaan sa mga taong nakakakinig kasi na-identify yung different staging ng sakit, which I never heard at all. I never heard at all. So,
Kamusta na po yung ano pong naging reaction ng mga doktor dun sa ospital that were exposed to this protocol?
Actually, Greco had 4 doctors. One doctor was against it, decided to, yung head attending physician niya po, just made me sign waivers. And I knew he was watching out kung ano ang mangyayari dun sa gamot. At the end of our stay, she was asking for the protocol. In fact, may 3 pasyente po na pumasok dahil nalaman si Greco, yung story ni Greco. She asked for the protocol para ibigay dun sa 3 tao. Unfortunately, one of them died, but because of the comorbidities. But 3 out of 4 got out of the hospital alive. Now, yung dinala yung asawa, yung isa hong malaking tao rin who wanted to come, one of the ex-congressmen who wanted to come because they heard about Greco. They wanted to go to that same hospital and have the same treatment. Hindi pumayag yung doktorang anak, dinala sa St. Luke's. Died in a matter of 2 days, dead. St. Luke's na. Kami Bulinggit na hospital. Isa lang patay sa amin because yung pong comorbidity. Now the doctors was at one point yung kanyang nephrologist who was convincing me for a hemoperfusion, which we refused. Sabi niya kasi I don't know if my reasoning is correct. Sabi niya sa akin, what is that for? It's going to take out all the inflammatory cells that's being thrown into the system. Sabi ko, ba't mo aalisin? Yan nga ang indicator na something's going on for my son. Ang kailangan gamot na pagpapatigil doon sa source ng mga gayon. But it did not explain why they would want a hemoperfusion. So we refused the hemoperfusion. Sabi niya, masyado ng maraming, kasi pataas yung inflammatory markers niya, tsaka yung mga D-dimers niya, pataas. But he was getting well. Ang kanyang nakikita ko doon sa while he was lying down, he was getting well every day. Every day he was getting better, pero ang kanyang laboratories were not saying it. So, without those laboratories, he is not going to any Then someone in the group told me it's inflammatory stage. Hindi ko alam yun eh. Sabi ko, talaga, maybe this is true. So, because the doctors were just so compassionate to my son, they were, alam mo niyo talaga, yung ginawa sa akin ng mga doktor, I think that really moved me. And the doctors, after that, yung head niya, tinanong na ako, sabi niya, can I get your protocol? That this is not in the formulary of the hospital. During that time, he allowed me all the things that the doctors were telling me to do. I was doing it to my son. Pagka sinabi niya sa ni doktora na Willa na 80 milligrams lang ang gagawin mo for your anticoagulant. Bibigyan lang ang anak ko ng 40. Ang gagawa ko, bibili ako sa labas, sasaksak ko yung another 40. Para hindi
you can do that, Doc, because you're a doctor yourself, no? We're not advising anybody to do that kung hindi sila doktor at marunong sa ginagawa nila.
Yeah,
but Doc,
but I'm just saying.
You were following the protocol.
I'm saying. I wanted to do the protocol of that, no, and then yes. I was saying that my son is being a guinea pig, but you know, if they succeed, and I see Philippines, all the Filipinos are going through this will benefit from this. Of course, the oxygen is there, and true enough po, yung tatlong well,
Yes.
pero yung dalawa po buhay pa.
To be fair po,
Hanggang
Doc, to be fair,
protocol.
we've had other patients who've used leronlimab. Si former President Erap is one. Dr. Jade had patients, and Dr. Randy has had several also. So we were not. But let me before anything else, let's bring in one of the doctors who was part of the team that took care of your son, si Dr. Homer. Doc Homer, hindi naman natin tinatago itong protocol. Baka isipin ng tao na we're making it a secret. But can you explain a little bit more about the protocol that was used on PAC?
Yeah, well, actually, what Doctora did, was she gave 100 grams, so 100 grams, which is 100,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day, and then Doctora Marivic Villa, core doctors also for CDC PH, gave 50,000, so 50,000 units of vitamin D, and Dr. Rafi naman suggested to give up to 360 milligrams of melatonin on a daily basis. So that's part of the protocol together with 600. Sorry, not 300, 600 milligrams of melatonin, because it was like 8 milligrams per kilogram body weight. So that seems to be, of course, pag ganun kadaming melatonin, you cannot buy it. So, kung 600 milligrams, parang sobrang dami yun. Parang 200 tablets yun. So, we had it compounded, specially made for Greco. So that's 100 grams of vitamin C, 50,000 units of vitamin D. We have 600 milligrams of vitamin melatonin, together with your high dose of methylprednisolone, which was what Dr. Marivic Villa said was around 250 milligrams of methylprednisolone as a loading dose, and then 125 milligrams every 6 hours of methylprednisolone. So that was really high dose. Kaya yung mga doctors medyo parang ayaw nilang ibigay because it's really high dose. But it really works, as what Dr. Belhica said, that it really works. You suddenly nag-turn around yung sanya with regards, and of course together with leronlimab. We have really seen consistently leronlimab really improves patients within 24 to 36 hours. Once you inject them with leronlimab, they improve, whether they're very, very sick or they're only sick, but you can see talaga yung effect of leronlimab together with the whole protocol that Dr. Belga. Also, with regards to that ivermectin, Dr. Beth, how much ivermectin were you giving? I think they to understand and realize.
When Greco was kanyang oxygen was hindi namin ma-stabilize so quickly, we were given a maximum dose of 120 milligrams of ivermectin a day. And then we carried that on for a week, and then it was tapered little by little. Right now, I am on ilan bang ivermectin ko ngayon? Parang we are already, we have stopped ivermectin for a while kasi nagsisyncope si Greco. Pero we are supposed to start it once a day na by next week. By this coming week. Mag-once a day na lang kami kay Greco.
Well, actually, so what Dr. Belhica was saying is she was giving Greco 8 capsules of 15 milligram ivermectin on a daily basis, no? But again, Doctora, if your son is already okay, no more symptoms, he doesn't really need to take any more of the ivermectin, because I'm sure he has lots of antibodies already to protect him. No?
Lilawin din natin, Doc, yung weight ni Chair Greco. No? He's how many pounds, Dr. Meth?
He started with 190. Ngayon, 175 na siya. 167. He really lost a lot of weight. So, medyo tall and lanky na lang siya ngayon.
So below 167 now, no, is 75.9 kilos, right? If I'm right? So dapat yung dosage kasi ng ivermectin is dependent on weight. So I'm just putting it in perspective.
Yeah. Oh. So hindi na ho kami nag-ivermectin ngayon. Dr. Homer, so pagka ganun po, he doesn't have to take, when he finally goes out, take ivermectin anymore as a part of prophylaxis?
Okay, so the newest study is showing that you're actually better protected than if you were vaccinated. So your son can actually be, kumbaga, what we call lifelong immunity against COVID. Not only whatever variant it is, they have lifelong immunity. So that's that's one of the things that we also want to discuss later on, that we should not only be discussing about patients who are vaccinated, we also should be discussing about patients who have been infected and recovered. They also form part of our what we call herd immunity.
Herd immunity.
So your son is actually already recovered and he has enough antibodies to protect him from further reinfection. I think that's what is important for everyone.
Nag-antibody test na po ba si Chair?
Hindi pa ho, kasi medyo mahina pa siya ngayon.
So,
Hindi, naka-antibody test na ho ng isa. Antibody, hindi, antigen pala. Hindi pa po, pinapalakas pa po namin.
Okay, so the best...
Nagpa-party na eh.
So the best time to take
I have another question.
Yes, go ahead.
Paano po yung mga household na I know all of them had their own share of antigen during the time that it was the whole household actually. Can we say that they are already fully protected with the antibodies that they have right now?
Everyone.
Yung household
everyone, whether they have mild, moderate, severe, critical infection, if they have recovered, they will have antibodies that will protect them from further reinfection. I think that has to be clear to everyone who is listening right now.
Those who were infected, okay, linawin lang natin. Those who were infected and recovered.
Yes, infected and recovered. Of course, if you're infected, you didn't recover, of course, nasa heaven ka na. So, hindi ka na-counted sa herd immunity.
Tapos yung may issue din yung mild lang ang infection, di ba? Kung mild lang ang infection, sometimes the antibodies don't really climb to the level that would be considered a long-term immunity, hindi po ba?
Well, actually, that's what they were saying, but it's not actually true because they found that even asymptomatic patients would have actually antibodies to protect them from further reinfection from the SARS or the COVID virus.
Yes, Dr.
Doc, I was told by one of the doctors, I was asking if I can have an antibody test for all my families. And they told me, pwede naman, kaya nga lang, we don't really know the number or the amount COVID-19 and all its variant. So, ibig niya sabihin, hindi pa rin natin alam. That's according to World Health daw, etc.
Kaya naman pala, Doc. World Health
actually, Doctora, aside from the antibody, we have not even touched on what we call yung T cells. No? So, aside from antibodies, we also have T cells. Yun ang hindi nagte-test. So, as long as you had already previously infected. You studies yan from Israel, over 700,000 people, Cleveland Clinic in the United States, over your chance of being reinfected is one in every. As long as you have antibodies, do not be afraid. The only people who get reinfection would probably be a Lord, no? Kaya that's why they get reinfected. or maybe the first infection was actually a false positive, which is we always find very common. People who have been infected probably COVID. So don't be your chances of reinfection based on the studies, big studies showing that it's very low. So I think you should not be afraid. That's why I said you don't even have to take ivermectin because your antibodies, your immune system can actually take care of if there would be under exposure to the COVID virus.
Dr. Rometh, there's a question that I would like to ask you. Maybe you would know better than anyone else. Kasi ang dami po nagtatanong sa amin, naghahanap ng ospital that would be willing to do this to apply the CDC PH protocol, the FLCCC protocol, rather than the DOH protocol, which, as we know, is not exactly that successful. Is the hospital you went to open to doing this, or do you know of any other hospitals that are willing?
Alam mo, Brother Mike,
Oops, nag-mute po. Nag-mute po yung mic.
I have right now.
Nag-mute po ulit. Yan. Okay po.
Okay. I have another relative whom I was able to have admitted in the same hospital where Greco is being admitted. And I took the same, I asked the same AP to be the attending. She allowed. Pero hindi pumayag ang board.
Aray.
Pero merong isang doktora doon, I think we should reach that doctor, two actually, who is open-minded. I think it's 3 of them who is open-minded on this thing na there's another protocol. And last night, I have a schoolmate who was looking for leronlimab. Medyo natulungan namin. And then they started asking me about what happened to Greco. I gave them the protocol and all of that. And one of our more senior was asking me, "Can you give us your protocol? Because it seemed to me that you have a testimony here to say." And I said, "Yeah. In fact, I thought that you should be able to. I don't know how we can get a forum for those people who will be interested." And I said, if we have one of this forum, let me let you know. And he was absolutely interested to find out what ang ating protocol. Pero wala tayong protocol na masasabi natin talaga na mai-distribute, di ba?
Meron na po siguro. Doc Homer just finished updating.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Nako. Marami po tayong magagawang tulong na.
Yes, Doc, pero ospital ang kailangan. Kailangan may suporta talagang ospital. Kasi we're seeing the same problem over and over again. Pagdating sa darating sila na ayaw ng remdesivir, walang ibang sagot. So just to bring everybody else up to speed, if you're not here, if this is the first time you're hearing about the name leronlimab, Dr. Randy Nicolas, another CDC PH doctor, has been talking about it since last year pa po. You can check our videos. He was already telling us about leronlimab. It's done very well in phase 3 clinical trials. It is now available in the Philippines under CSP, Compassionate Special Permit. And what we are hoping that the FDA will do, I will pass this on na lang to Dr. Iggy or Dr. Homer. Can you tell them what we're hoping that the FDA will do with leronlimab, Docs Iggy and Homer? Pa-unmute, Doc. Yan.
Yeah, yung leronlimab has been on the waiting list na rin yan for EUA. Matagal na, and this is something special with CDC PH. I'm proud to say that CDC PH is one of the groups that really pushed this with the help of Dr. Randy Nicolas. I mean, when we started, I think he joined us in December or November last year.
October na yata, Doc. As early as October.
There's an interview of my best friend, Dr. Randy Nicolas. And really, I'm not being sarcastic. He's really my best friend. And imagine how lucky the Philippines was that leronlimab was brought here. Actually, I just wanted to talk na yung Doctora, we're so happy for you that your son survived. And this is a perfect example of how nagkakaroon pa ng debate trying to help a patient. There are options available. And the negativity seems to be that parang bang pinipigilan pa eh. I mean, as if they were successful in already what they were doing. They were not. So that was the sad thing. Now, yung protocols po kasi ganito, it's still evolving. I don't think we really have a best practices protocol, and no single doctor, CDC PH or outside, could really say na this is the best and only one. But they're good guides. So I don't think doctors are robots. Also, we don't follow a single protocol as well. So doctors are there because they will have to individualize every patient. Some patients, sometimes their experience would matter. Otherwise po, kung hindi nagmamatter yung experience ng doctor, di sundan na lang natin yung pinadala sa atin ng DOH. So my point being, every patient is different. The doctor and the patient has a special relationship. And we should use the guidelines as a guide and not something that is being forced upon everyone. But I think we have something more in CDC PH, that we are more open to these things where we have no bias. And we're more independent in terms of providing at least the scientific kinds of protocols.
That's right. Dr. Jade?
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Meth, for telling your story, the story of Greco. And we're very happy to know that he's doing good. In fact, he's attending a party. Now, I have something about leronlimab. No, leronlimab is one of the best thing that happened in our management of COVID. The only thing is, it is still a CSP, and it is very hard to fill up a CSP if you're a doctor. Ako nga, nahirapan ako mag-fill up ng CSP. So I partnered with somebody from FDA. We worked together on a CSP kasi mahirap talagang gumawa ng CSP unless you are prodded to make the process faster with the help of Director General Maya. So, ang ganito ang pinopropose ko. Kasi kailangan lang, many hospitals do not want leronlimab, no? Marami. In fact, my patient already purchased leronlimab. Ikakabit lang, they will just inject it subcutaneously, hayo pumayag ng doktor. So what happened? Namatay na lang yung pasyente. Pero may leronlimab sana. Now, I would like to propose that we have some kind of yung mga small hospitals that are amenable to the protocol that we have. Small hospitals o kaya mga infirmaries that can provide facilities for yung mga monoclonal antibody infusion center, and at the same time sources of high flow oxygen, kasi hindi natin kailangan ang intubation at saka yung mga hemoperfusion. Once you catch the patient in early stage of cytokine storm, madali nang ma-solve yon. Ang kailangan lang natin are friendly hospitals or infirmaries who will accept patients for leronlimab subcutaneous injection or infusion, IV, and okay na tayo. We will be okay. We can manage the patients who need hospitalization, and madali na. Kaya lang kailangan natin ma-identify ito, and I would propose for the CDC PH to identify hospitals or infirmaries who are friendly to the protocol of CDC PH. Meron ng mga I talked with somebody in DOH and Leon. Inspect these purposes. Leronlimab injection or infusion, and oxygenation. Kasi ito lang yung mga kailangan talaga ng mga hospital. Sa mga hospital, what do they give you? They give you remdesivir, they give you tocilizumab, then they do intubation, and then hemoperfusion, patay. So ito na yung kanilang protocol na and they are not very friendly to this protocol that we have introduced by the FLCCC and which is implemented by the CDC PH. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jade. Okay, if there are no more questions from our doctors for Dr. Ahmed, tapos na yung kanyang, tapos na yung kanyang
Yeah, I was just going to ask because, hello?
Yes, po. Go ahead, please.
We were just, because of I am also a COVID survivor, and my
Yes.
son is. What we went through and how we were changed by this. This really, I think, has a very big impact on us. That the Philippines really needs something. But this with this doctor, I don't know how pwedeng, we can go and talk to the. Kasi kinausap na sila ng leronlimab, they were willing to accept leronlimab yata diyan sa ospital na yan. Meron lang dapat kumuha ng compassionate yung permit na yan. I think the doctor of Greco has already signed up to ask for this compassionate thing. So I believe that if we can have spotted some hospital, like I think Assumption is a good target. There has to be a way na one of us can go approach the board para lang maging open to those clients who would request for it. Not really to change the formula of the hospital, but to make it available to patients who might want to have a different treatment plan. Eh, syempre tayo makakapag-refer na tayo sa mga friends natin. Like, I have already referred siguro four people doon na tinanggap lahat yun. So, I think we can move on this way rather than going big. Let's parang, anayin natin yung mga ospital, the small ones, not the bigger ones, para ipaliwanag sa kanila ito. Using some doctors, like this doctor that I have, the three of them, I think we can make it. And then napag-uusapan nga naming pamilya na nakita ko yung problema actually ng I'm doing telemedicine right now. Most of the problem was oxygenation. So si Greco, nabigyan po siya ng tulong nung high oxygen flow. I called up the one who provided us with the high oxygen flow. I was purchasing at least 3 or 4 high oxygen flow and nebulizer para po sa steroid. And ang sabi ko po, please check me if I am wrong. Can I just put up, Kako, a tent and then have patients who would like to have this kind of, I mean, if the hospitals will be too hostile, I will put up a tent somewhere and put all those clients who'd like to have leronlimab, hindi ko naisip kasi masyadong mahal eh, oxygenation and nebulization. Tent lang ang kailangan ko. Ang sabi po nung kausap ko, I'll do that in 1 week. What do you think about that, Yusek Jade? Am I going too far?
Dr. Jade?
Kasi I have at least
Nakamute ka yata,
20
Dr. Jade.
people who are all lacking in oxygen.
Yeah, I think it's possible because I talked to Attorney Lotero and he's very open to that. Sabi ko, kung pwedeng meron lang parang tent nga lang. Sabi ko, tent lang. Sabi niya, tinawag niyang infirmary. Sabi niya, pwede magkaroon ng mga infirmaries and he will certify. I-inspect niya, ibibigyan niya ng mga standards and then he will certify those infirmaries who will function as oxygen tents, parang oxygen tents. And also leronlimab infusion centers. Nang kayang ginagawa sa Florida ni Governor DeSantis. Meron silang mga infusion centers, pupunta doon, pero free yung Regeneron. Dito sa atin napakamahal ng
Leronlimab. That's right.
ng leronlimab. Sana doon na napunta yung vaccine money.
Correct.
Doon na linalagay yung
Face
vaccine
shields.
Isa pa,
buying face shields.
isa
And,
pa problema yun, Doc. Yung with I like the tents idea, definitely anything that gets the healing out to the people. Ang problema natin is yung hindi pa rin nabibigyan tayo ng EUA. Hindi pa rin tayo, nasa CSP pa rin tayo, and we still need to go through the process of going to the FDA and asking for CSP for every single patient kung hindi tayo institution, di po ba? What we're looking for is for the FDA to move to give us freer access to drugs such as leronlimab and ivermectin, which of course they don't want to do for some reason.
And it's very hard. It's very hard CSP form. Matagal.
Right.
Inabot kami ng buong maghapon ng Saturday just to fill up a CSP.
Well, yan na nga po ang problema. Problema nila natin
Yes.
sa kanila to get the
Fast,
people
yes.
fast,
That's right.
healed
That's right.
faster.
That's
Okay,
right.
so Doc Meth, thank you very, very much for sharing your story.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. We will do that.
Can I know? Will you allow me, mga doktor, to point out who was on the dream team? Chair Greco was Dr. Homer Lim, Dr. Rafi Castillo, Dr. Sham Quinto, Dr. Marivic Villa. Sino pa ba, Doc Homer? Who am I missing?
Yeah, basically that's the group.
Okay,
Yeah,
so yes, Doc.
I'd like to also thank Dr. Marivic Villa because she helped me manage my classmate with yung protocol nila sa FLCCC using basically the same thing, vitamin C, methylprednisolone.
Sorry, I forgot. Doc Randy Nicolas was part of the team.
Randy,
Also.
yeah. Dr. Randy. Yeah, so I'd like to thank Dr. Marivic Villa if she's here. I'd like to thank her for helping me co-manage my classmate na nag-improve siya together with his wife. Thank you very much.
Matunog na matunog this evening yung Leron Limab. Dr. Meth, once again, thank you po. Maraming salamat po kay Chair Greco also for allowing us to share his story.
It's an honor po.
Okay. Good night po. Okay, next slide, Ellie.
Buhay pa ba ang dapat mawala bago kayo maniwala? Sayang ang pera, sayang ang buhay.
That's right. As of tonight, hindi lang maniwala sa ivermectin, pati si Leron Limab ayaw. Okay, bakit kayo kontra kagalingan? Nasa gitna tayo ng giyera kontra COVID na dapat subukan kahit anong sandata meron na ligtas at epektibo. Ang bakuna na minadali, sinubukan kahit eksperimento ito, bakit hindi ang ivermectin na ilang dekada na pong subok na. Okay, that's Dr. Jade has also answered Dr. Lacuna already. So hopefully he will do his homework and not just kasi Ellie, ang problema ang naririnig ko sa iba is nag-Google search sila at wala silang mahanap na magandang balita tungkol sa ivermectin. So we would recommend if you want to try another search engine such as DuckDuckGo, hindi nag-filter at hindi namimili ng website na pwede mong puntahan ang DuckDuckGo. Ang Google nagsisensor yan eh. Kung ayaw nilang mabasa mo ito, nilalabas nila sa algorithm nila. So niluluto yung algorithm and they don't send you to and you also need to know how to search. That's another problem. Okay, so go ahead. Next slide, Ellie.
Next slide, please.
Ay, sorry, hindi pala si Ellie.
Si Anne. CDC PH asks, if COVID eradication is supposed to be the government's goal, why are the DOH, FDA, and Yakuna trying to stop us from doing it? Protect the people, not big pharma.
Okay, buti pa sila, sana all. We're
Good
showing.
evening. Here we are in
We're showing a video now of from El Salvador, which shows the El Salvador government distributing early treatment kits to its citizens.
Amazing package, which I want to talk to you about.
Estamos aquí en El Salvador y encontramos un paquete que es increíble.
This package is given to every patient that has COVID, the families of patients that have COVID, and in areas where there's a high prevalence.
This is an early treatment kit that contains ivermectin, and in the countries of India, Indonesia, Japan, Peru, Mexico, and more, ito ang ginagawa nila. What's the word? Namimigay. Namamahagi. Thank you. Namamahagi sila ng mga kit na katulad nito. May vitamin C, may vitamin D, I think may doxycycline na rin at antibiotics, and then may ivermectin for the different stages. Ang gumagawa din yan dito sa Pilipinas ay ang grupo ni Sir Ted Locsin sa Bacolod. And if you want to be like what Manuel was saying earlier, you want to be part of this, you can start it yourself. There are templates that you can follow. Like you can ask Sir Ted Locsin in Bacolod to tell you what he's doing and show you the same. And you can also follow the CDC PH protocol. Next slide, please, Anne. Ellie.
CDC PH asks, kung wala po kayong significant number na nagpapagaling sa COVID patients, mild to severe, expert na rin po ba ang tawag sa inyo? Protect the people, not big pharma.
So, ang eksperto dapat nagpapagaling ng pasyente, hindi yung magaling sa kritisismo, magaling sa pintas, magaling sa mga paggamit ng mga pangbakuna, hayop, yung mga hindi nag-aaral, hindi po eksperto ang tawag doon. Yung nagre-regurgitate ng mga lumang research na pakita na natin sa CDC PH na mali ang ginawang pag-review kuno ng randomized. Hindi po eksperto ang tawag dyan kahit ilan pa ang following nila sa Facebook at YouTube. May tinatamaan ba? Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Oh, change pala tayo. Sige.
Booster shots, mutations, and waning of vaccine efficacy. Sayang ang pera, sayang ang buhay.
Okay, sabi ng Forbes magazine, scientific evidence doesn't back booster COVID shots. Researchers warn even for the Delta variant. Oh boy. Ano yan? CNBC.
Oh, yeah.
Sige,
read it. Okay, COVID protection for the fully vaccinated is waning. UK study finds.
Next.
Yeah, next.
Yun na pala yun. Okay, atras. So the point is na hindi kaya ng mga bakunang existing, yung mga variant. On the other hand, kayang-kaya ng ivermectin ang kahit anong variant. Kayang-kaya din ng leronlimab ang kahit anong variant. Okay, basta kaya ng bulsa mong ang leronlimab, kaya. Pero kung hindi kaya, ivermectin na lang tayo. Okay, next slide. Citizens Action, Ellie.
We would like to implore everybody here at isama nyo na rin po ang mga friends and family to participate in this call to action. You are all concerned citizens of the Philippines and we have strength in numbers. Together we can achieve our shared desire to do the right thing for our people and for our country. Next slide, please. So here's a letter of appeal to business owners against discrimination and coercion. Everybody, you can download and print this letter. Indicate po the name of the establishment, name of owner is optional, and handwritten is okay. Concerned citizens hand the letter to owners of restaurants, shops, stores, salons, cars, clinics, spas, gyms, offices, grocery stores, etc., who are not allowing the unvaccinated to go in. No? Always wear your warm smile and pray as you leave. Everybody, can I ask Laika to please add the file in the chat box? Everybody can download the Google file and just handwrite or type in the name of the establishment. And please, everybody, disseminate this letter to everybody that is doing this. We have strength in numbers. Thank you, everyone.
Po yung ito po yung Viber group, Joy, shot of the QR code, and that will lead you to our Viber groups. Hali na po. Dr. Marivic Villas in the house. Hi, Doc. Next slide, please. Call to action. Yes. Okay, once again, ating napakasakit na reminder. Dahil hindi pa rin tumitigil si Joey Concepcion sa pagdiskrimina dito sa atin mga unvaccinated. We have people, as mentioned earlier, we have people who are now immune who cannot benefit from a vaccine and could actually be harmed by a vaccine. Experimental po effect will be on our bodies 5 or 10 years hence dahil po wala pa pong isang taon na ginagamit itong mga bakunang ito. Sinubukan ka agad sa tao kahit hindi pa natin alam kung okay ba sila in the long term. So for those of us who are smart enough to decide that, I'd rather not inject something into my body that I cannot remove later on, then allow us to do make our own. Really just disregard the pain of the families of the patients who died after getting the jab. Padami po ng padami ang mga biktima ng bakuna. We hear every day of people who died the vaccination. So masakit po sa aming mga puso. Hindi namin maintindihan kung bakit hindi po ninyo maintindihan yung sakit po ng puso ng mga taong nasaktan po ng bakuna na tinutulak po ninyo at pinipilit po ninyo bakuna. Meron po naman kaming utak na, forcing us to do. So don't force us because we will fight back. Believe us, we will fight back. We will not allow you to ram this down our throats. Vaccines po are not for everybody, just like shellfish and peanuts are not for everybody. Meron pong allergic sa shellfish at peanuts at meron po rin allergic sa bakuna ninyo. So they have a right to say no. It's simple logic, Mr. Joey Concepcion. Thank you po. Number one, DOH, please be transparent about better data, better numbers on hospitalized, and not just on cases which are mostly mild and symptomatic. We need to know how many are really, truly hospitalized and provide us with all of the data we need, including the hospital names, to justify your endless lockdowns. We need true data on the adverse effects of your COVID-19 vaccines as well. Ilan po ba talaga ang namatay na? Ilan po ba ang na-ospital? Ilan po ba ang na-paralyzed na mga bakuna ninyo? When are we going to see those numbers? When are you going to be honest with us and bring out the whole truth so that the people can decide for themselves kung gusto ba nilang magpabakuna o hindi? We need the truth po. We need the actual data. Give us the not just the lab results but the death, all the medical records of the people who've died after getting the vaccine. Let us examine those records and let us come to our own conclusions. We don't need po your experts, quote unquote. We have our own experts and we will make up our own minds whether your vaccines work or not. Next point. FDA. Naku, ano po nangyari sa remdesivir? Why are you not pulling remdesivir out of the hospital protocol still until now? Hindi pa ninyo ginagawa. People are dying faster because of this ineffective and expensive drug. You heard today about Dr. Meth mention that remdesivir ang binibigay. We're hearing about patients who are going to have to go through therapy to amend, to fix what the remdesivir did to their liver or kidney. I can never remember which, but it hurts the body. And so why will you add another toxin to a body that's already struggling with a disease that could kill them? I don't understand the logic. Maawa na po kayo. Haven't you made enough money already off the remdesivir? I mean, when does it stop? When does the greed stop? Honestly.
Yeah.
Nag-order pa sila. August kailan lang nagpabidding na naman sa remdesivir. Sinabi na po ng WHO, Nobyembre pa of last year. We're not just they recommend against remdesivir. The World Health Organization, which you say you follow, already said we recommend against remdesivir because it does not help. Period. Maawa na po kayo. Next slide, please. 3, government and mainstream media need to allow public, open, and transparent discourse on public health issues. Pare-pareho po ang nilalabas nyong eksperto sa mga show ninyo. Sila palagi binibigyan nyo ng front and center at binibigyan ng ilang minuto sa mga show ninyo. The same thing. They keep preaching the same thing over and over again, which doesn't work. Tinutulak nila remdesivir, tinutulak ang lockdown, tinutulak ang bakuna. They don't work. The vaccines are leaky and they hurt people. It's enough. No to censorship. Allow the citizens to decide for themselves and for their own bodies after they learn all sides of the issues. We cannot learn all sides of the issue if you don't give a voice to the people on the other side. Kung laging mga pabor sa inyong panig na pro-bakuna at pro-remdesivir, kahit namamatay ng tao, wala kayong pakialam. Sila pa rin pinapalabas ninyo sa mga stasyon ninyo. Wrong. No to silencing real-world data and other medical professionals. And 4, adopt the CDC PH 5-point agenda. Make it part of the government's comprehensive solution for the COVID-19 crisis. There's a reason why we came up with the 5-point agenda. There's a reason why we have a protocol, because our protocol works. You just heard the story today. That's not the only story we have. We have a number of stories of We have a lot of stories of our protocol working in even the severe cases. So if our protocol works and yours doesn't, let's use our brains. Which do you think we should follow? Be open. Listen to other opinions, especially from those with no conflicts of interest. Hindi po kumikita sa Big Pharma ang aming mga doktor. Okay? Hindi po. Okay? But we are just as concerned as everybody else that people stop dying. You heard it here from Dr. Kalingasan. We want people to stop dying. We've been saying that since Flatten the Fear. It was launched in September 17th of last year. We said no one else needs to die. You haven't been listening because people have kept on dying. There's a reason for that. And the reason is the problem is you. It's not us. Next. Okay. Thank you po. God bless the Philippines. Will we hear from Doc Marivic? Can we hear 5 minutes, Doc Marivic? Bati lang po kayo. And baka gusto nyo, I don't know if you caught Doc Marivic, 5 minutes lang po. Very quickly, Doc Marivic.
Kahit yung, magandang gabi ho sa inyong lahat. Di ko narinig yung sinabi ni Dr. Romet, but I think I know what she said. And pati si Dr. Jade, talaga pong kailangan ng, i-recruit nyo yung maliliit na hospital because they're the one who are cooperating to what you can do with the patient, ibang protocol. At saka yung naiisip ko pa, bakit yung mga ibang doktor may mga practice, you can do this in your offices. Ito yung sinasabi kong changing landscape in the management of COVID. Kasi matagal ko nang ginagawa ito, I don't hospitalize people. And parang parang ivermectin, kailangan ibigay mo bago magkasakit o kung at the beginning na magkasakit pa lang yung pasyente. Ito, ibigay mo yung treatment bago maging critical. Kasi pag naging critical na, then that's a very difficult, it's a very challenging situation to deal with. So, yung gamit ng, emphasize ko sa inyo, ang gamit ng IV vitamin C is very important kasi this disease is, wala talagang ganitong disease na ang inflammation sobra. So, ibig sabihin nun, ang oxidative stress napakataas. And so, kailangan taasan talaga ang antioxidant. And IV vitamin C can be administered or instituted on the outpatient basis. So, bigyan nyo na kaagad para may suporta na yung tao sa baga. Ang isang sabihin ko sa inyo, dito sa Florida kahapon, yung FDA, hindi sila nag-agree na hindi sila nag-agree sa third shot except for the 65 and above. So, choice. At least, magandang, maganda namang, nangyari. And then, I'm still seeing, this is only my second death on vaccine complication. Yesterday, a patient of mine just died within a week after the vaccine. So, mga komplikasyon ng bakuna, mas nangyayari after the first one. The second one kasi na parang prime na yung yung immune system mo at saka mas maraming blood clot nangyayari after the So, mag-organize po kayo kasi talaga tandaan nyo, the COVID is treatable. You just have to be aggressive from the very beginning and from the get-go kasi wala po ako hanggang ngayon, wala akong hospitalization at wala pang namamatay since September 2020. So sana makinig yung mga doktor kasi pong sinasabi ko katotohanan. Yun lang.
Okay, thank you, Doc Marivic. Closing words na po tayo. Maaga Doc Igor, you still there? Okay, wala. Sabi sa'yo, tulog na yan.
Nakatulog na nga.
Doc Homer, closing words, please.
So thank you again, Doctors Jerry and Doctors Beth, for your wonderful sharing in this particular episode. I just want to tell everyone that, we are moving forward, that, we're actually getting somewhere with regards to our advocacy as well as our protocols in helping patients with COVID. Hopefully, we hope and pray more and more doctors as well as doctors like Dr. Jerry Kalingasan, in the different region regional hospitals and public health offices to do the same, because in the end of the day, it's not about politics. It's just about, saving lives. I think that's the most important thing that we have to consider. Thank you.
Alright, may tanong po kung nasan daw yung protocol ni Doc Homer. Nasa cdcph.org website po, cdcph.org website. And if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, there's a portion there that says download protocol. Nandun po yung ating protocol. All right, Ellie, any final words from you?
Thank you, everybody, for coming weekly and supporting us on Saturday nights. It's really such a highlight for us. Next week, we will have more very hot topics to discuss. So, we'll see you there. So, bye-bye po.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. It's 9:17. We went 17 minutes overtime, but it was such a blessing to have all of you here with us this evening. Maraming salamat po. See you on the next weekly huddle. Until then, good night. God bless you.
Good night. God bless Philippines.